Namaskar. Today we are on day 5 of our journey, and today I would like to take up a question which was sent to me by one of our group members. He says that the wounds of the past are the obstacle to our emotional and spiritual development. So, how do we overcome this and grow? Now, when he says wounds, I'm understanding that it implies some kind of a hurt, right? It is natural for us to feel hurt or to, feel bad in the moment when somebody does something to us which hurts us. But if we are going on holding on to it for long after the event is over, it's not a good sign, and it is bad for our well being, both at the physical as well as emotional levels. Now, a lot of research is being done, and they are finding out that if you are mentally stressed, if you are emotionally distressed, then that can lead to a lot of physical health problems also. So, from our own point of view, it is important that we must learn to let go of whatever hurt has been caused in our life. Now, what somebody else did, or what they said, or how they behaved, that is not actually our concern, because they didn't know better, right? It is their weakness that caused them to behave like that. So, if we learn to develop this kind of a spirit, then it will be easier for us to let go of it. Now, many times we have this expectation that everything in our life should be good and nice, but basically life is difficult. So the earlier we accept this, that life is going to be difficult and we have to find our way through it somehow with God's help, then we will be able to accept, and if we keep fighting all the time against whatever is happening to us, then the reality that we face and our expectations of how our life should be, when they don't match, then it causes us lot of distress, and we get stuck in unhappiness, and we are not able to see all the good things that we actually have. So to be able to overcome this hurt or to let go, whether it is for past events or it is for the present events also, it is important for us to learn to develop two attitudes. The first attitude is that whatever is happening, it is my prarabdha, it is part of my give and take account with the other person from some past janma. So whatever is happening now is to settle that account. So learn to accept that, and when you think in that manner, your mind will not get disturbed and you will be able to stay calm. The other way in which we can overcome hurt and learn to surrender is by accepting that everything is happening as per the will of God. Whatever is going on in my life is as per God's wish. So there is a story which Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to tell. There was a event where some robbers, they burgled a house, and then they picked up all those items, valuables, everything, and started running. The police were running behind them. So these robbers happened to pass by the house of a devotee of Rama, and because they didn't want to be caught with the loot, they threw all those things into that devotee's house. Now the police came there. They saw that the items were in that devotee's house. They arrested him and they took him away, and he was produced in front of the judge. So when the judge asked the devotee, "What is this? How you have done this wrong act? Why did you do this robbery?" Because they assumed that he had robbed. The items were found in his house. So that devotee said, "By the will of God, I was getting ready to go to sleep. By the will of Rama, I was chanting and saying my prayer. By the will of God, the robbers passed by my house, and by the will of God, they threw it into my house. By the will of God, the police came there, and by the will of God, they brought me here, and by the will of God, I am standing here in front of you." Now the judge realized that this person is a true devotee of Rama and he cannot have done such an activity. So with a gentle smile, he said, "By the will of Rama, I am releasing you from this accusation, so you can go." Now, the important thing in this story is that if we are able to cultivate this spirit, that every single thing that I am doing, as well as what is happening to me, is by the will of God, that will help us to stay calm. You must remember when I mentioned this story, I said first thing is he also mentioned that by the will of Rama, I was chanting and doing my prayer. So many times what we do is the things which go right or the good things that we do, we attribute it to ourselves. We say, I did this, I did that. And when something goes wrong, we try to shift the blame to somebody else and say they did like this and because of that this happened and all that. Instead, don't give attribution to anybody, not to them, not to yourself also. For whatever happens in your life, accept that it is happening by the will of Rama. So, this spirit, if you cultivate, you will naturally start surrendering to God, and whatever happens, you will be able to view it with a quiet mind, and you will be able to, over a period of time, reach that quality of what is called as Tita pragma in the Bhagavad Gita, that whatever happens, your mind remains stable and equanimous, and you are not disturbed by either the good things that happen to you or the bad things that happen to you. So I remember my mother used to sing one Devaranama, which said, "Na ಮಾಡಿದ ಕರ್ಮ ಬಲವಂತವಾದರೆ ನೀ ಮಾಡುವುದೇನು ದೇವ." It is in Kannada. It means, if the karmas which I have done are so strong that I am forced to suffer, what can you do, O God? So, with that attitude, if we learn to look at all the difficulties in our life, and if we learn to see that everything is happening as per God's will, we will be able to face our problems with a better spirit, which is healthier for us. So, today, the activity that I suggest for all of us to do is that if you have anything from the past which is, bothering you, or it may be from the present also, somebody has hurt you, you have been upset about something, then first thing you need to understand is that you have given it a lot of space in your mind. It is a very big event for you. So visualize that as a big thing, and then close your eyes and slowly start imagining that that event or that person is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, shrinking, and finally totally disappears. Do this repeatedly 4 or 5 times in the day, and you can do it every day for whatever events bother you. And gradually, you will find that the amount of importance you are giving to that event becomes less. It is easier for you to let go of all the hurts that you have faced. This technique is very much used in something called as neuro-linguistic programming, and it can be useful to all of us on our spiritual journey also. Okay. The second thing you can do is, if there is a particular person about whom you are upset, who has hurt you, and you have a lot of negative feelings about that person in your mind, then just visualize that person in your mind and say mentally to them that I forgive you. I know that whatever you have done or said has been because of your weakness, or because you are not able to overcome a particular thing in your mind. So I forgive you for having hurt me, and I hope that our relationship will grow better. Say something like that, visualize it in your mind, and you will feel that, try to say that along with the emotion. Don't just say it mechanically. Feel genuinely a sense of, accepting that person as they are. And the third thing you can do is develop a practice from today onwards. Whatever is happening, always say that it is happening by the will of Rama, by the will of Krishna, by the will of whichever God you are praying to. So develop that practice, and slowly you will learn to accept that whatever happens is for my good. It is for me to learn from this, and it is for my growth. So this is the activities that we have for today. Now, there was a questionnaire that I had sent out yesterday, so I request all of you, some of you have already filled it up. I request the rest of you to please fill it up, so that if there are any questions that you have, you can put it in there and I can address those issues. Then there was somebody who asked if they can call me to discuss something. So I'm most welcome to, take your queries. Please message me on WhatsApp so that we can fix up a time at which we can speak. Then there was somebody who asked, all these things that you are telling, it is very important, I feel, for me. Can I write and keep it? Yes, please, definitely. If you feel that it is useful to you and you think it is going to help you, then writing it down is a very good thing, because then it will remain with you and you can keep looking at it over a period of time again and again. You can keep revising whatever you have learned so that it will help you in your journey. So I hope that Lord Krishna will bless us all, and by His will I have told whatever I have told today. So I hope that with Lord's blessings we will be able to continue further on our journey. Namaskar.